What is going on, UFC card lovers? If you look here, who I've got with me, very, very special thing. We're about to be starting here. I'm here with Zac, one half of the channel Box Alarm Trading. Zac, how are you, mate, to start off with?
Doing good, man. Great to be here. Anytime I get to be here with your cool tattoos and your sweet hair, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep up with everyone else. I'm getting to my mid-30s now, so I'm trying to hang on to my youth. Let's break it down for the people what we are going to be doing here. So basically, every other month, I'm going to be hosting a video, a collab between me and Zac, and then the other month, the video is going to be on your end. But what we are going to be doing here is a regular collaboration between us two from here on out. Hopefully, you guys enjoy it. We have come up with some really what we think to be fun segments that are going to be reoccurring, which are going to be obviously fresh and every time, which relate to UFC cards. And we're just going to be overall having a good time here, chatting it up, talking about upcoming fights, talking about PC buys, talking about cards we've been buying, selling,
Oh yeah.
everything. So
Just nerding out, nerding out.
nerding out, nerding out over cards like we like to do. So obviously, yeah, me and Zac have made a few videos together now. I really enjoy having time talking to Zac, and hopefully he feels the same. So we got together and thought it would be great for not only us, but obviously for you guys as well to have regular content from us to just chatting it up, talking about the things that we love, UFC cards. So to start off with, Zac and I were just talking about before we get into the segments, we just thought we'd talk about the latest and greatest news in the UFC card hobby, which has only come out recently this morning or last night, maybe for some of you guys in the States, that we have seen an Instagram story shared around from Tito Ortiz having Topps stickers sheets to sign out. So everyone is sort of jumping the gun, thinking that UFC cards are now back with Topps, and this is proof. We saw a few weeks ago the Korean Zombie also put up an Instagram story that he was signing Topps stickers for some sort of potential UFC product. Zac, I've got thoughts on this myself, but hand it over for you, Zac. What are you thinking about this and the latest news?
I mean, it's kind of what we've all been expecting. This does seem a little earlier, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on. I wouldn't have expected them to start doing any of this stuff until, a couple months from now. The main thing I noticed was the amount. I think what was it, 1,200 on the Tito screenshot that he shared,
Yeah.
which I think that's a little alarming for some people. But if we think about like the a year release, you usually have, let's say they have three products their first release. If you're signing 1,200 autos spread across three products, that potentially, I don't think there will be too many problems. I mean, I think it's going to be on the upper end, but if it's four products, I'm not sure exactly what the math is, but that might just be of 99 and below on a couple different variations per set, and that would probably equal to 1,200. But what's your thoughts on the legitimacy of them sharing that? What do you think that means? Does that confirm it for you? What are your thoughts?
It doesn't confirm it for me, to be honest, just yet, at least. The two, like the biggest point that I would like to make out to people and for people to think about is that these are two retired fighters, no longer active within the UFC, no longer signed to the UFC roster, so therefore they no longer have licensing issues directly related with UFC products, memorabilia products. So for those of you who do not know, Topps actually have a legacy baseball product, Allen and Ginter, that they like to come out with a set each and every year. And normally this Allen and Ginter set is sort of focused more at maybe pop stars, other sporting athletes, things like that. So it is obviously just one in, like, I'm sort of thinking it's more possible and maybe more likely at the moment that it is quite potential. Like Korean Zombie, obviously he's only recently retired, but he is a really big star for the UFC in Asia, and he has been for quite some time. He's really popular over there. So it would make sense if maybe Topps, who released this Allen and Ginter product worldwide, that they would want to have maybe a chase card for some of those Asian MMA fans. So maybe, you know, they've picked up him for that product, and then maybe, who knows, maybe they've asked Tito as well, and they want to put Tito Ortiz in this Owen and Ginter product. For me at the moment, to be confirmed that it's, you know, Topps bringing back UFC licensed products for 2023. I agree, it's quite early. I mean, there hasn't even been news yet. Not that, you know, we're obviously, as the public, we're going to be the last people to know when Topps get the license back. But even still, I think it would be quite early for them to be making products this early when we haven't even heard a whisper of anything. I would say, as I said, I would be more confirming it when we're seeing actually rostered UFC fighters with their Instagram stories signing top stickers sheets. So as I said, that, like, obviously, yes, I'd love for it to be Topps, and I think it's just a matter of time, but I think it is still just a little bit too early. And as I said, for me, for the fact that it is just now 2 retired fighters who are no longer on the roster of UFC, I would assume it's for more of a product like Allen and Ginter, more so than an actual official UFC product.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm sure you could screenshot the actual image and like really read the the contract and maybe get some more details out of that. I haven't took the time or effort to do that, but mentioning Korean Zombie, have you seen the video of him on some singing show in South Korea?
I haven't
Dude,
seen that clip, but I have heard, like,
he has the voice of an angel.
I've
It's
heard
incredible.
I've heard that before. He's almost like a professional singer as well.
Yeah.
But as a man, he's beloved not only in Korea but like in a good part of Asia. Like he's a big star over there. So obviously very
It
happy
was
for him.
awesome. It was
Hopefully,
awesome.
hopefully he can have his next professional career maybe behind the mic instead.
Yeah, I could see him even doing like a Manny Pacquiao type gig where he goes into like the political scene over there because he's such a big star. You know, Pacquiao was what was he in the Philippines? Like was
Filipino.
he a governor or he
Yeah,
was like
yeah, I think, yeah.
he was like way up there. So
Maybe
that'd be
I'm
cool.
sure. Sorry, I'm sure third world collectors.
Yeah.
What you said, Rick, you can let us know in the comments about Pacquiao. You can fill us in.
Yeah, he's got all the insider info on the Pac-Man.
Yeah. Anything else you want to chat up about? Maybe the fights this week quickly. Obviously, we've got a segment which we're going to start with in a minute, relating directly to not actually. No, it's not. That's the next. Sorry, my bad, guys. But yeah, anything about the fights you want to talk about this week before we get into these segments?
Yeah, man. So we've got some amazing matchups. Like this card got absolutely exploded, and all the matchups that were the big ones that were gonna happen got disintegrated because of injuries and whatnot. So now we have Islam versus Volk, which I think everyone wants to see the rematch. So that was better. And then we got Hamzat Usman, which everyone wanted to see that too. So I feel like it was a rare occurrence where the card gets blown up and then gets reassembled even better. So I'm super excited. And we even have some upcoming guys on this. We got Mokaev. I'm excited to see him in there again. We've got the one-eyed pirate, Magomedov. I forget his first name. It's his debut, 11-0. So it's going to be awesome to see him fight too. Yeah, man. So it should be some good ones this weekend.
Yeah, 11-0 and 11 KOs, which is just an absolutely incredible statistic. But so I haven't seen him fight. I haven't watched any tape on him. Not sure if you have or not. I know you like to do that stuff. But yeah, no, obviously, yeah, super interested to watch him fight. I'm probably personally the only person in the world that I know of that is bummed that we're not seeing Costa and Hamza. Like, I
Yeah.
was really, really excited for that fight, and I know a lot of people said like they predicted this early on that something was going to happen, and we weren't going to see that fight. But I was personally pretty upset. And I know obviously Usman, Hamzat, some might argue that's a more competitive fight. I'm a little bit worried about Usman and his age and how he
Yeah.
sort of matches up with Hamzat, because Hamzat's just a wrecking ball. And I don't know if Usman's really fought anyone who's so reckless and can sort of just be unpredictable like Hamzat can, with the skills that Hamzat has as well. So I'm not sure how that fight's going to go. Obviously, yes, that makes it quite a spectacle to watch. But yeah, super bummed just because I'm a fan of Costa, fan of him not only in the ring and he's reckless, he's another reckless fighter. So that's why I thought these two reckless fighters getting together is going to create fireworks. But obviously, I enjoy his his social media stuff as well. So it's pretty bummed to see that that fight got pulled, and hopefully he can get healed up and they can maybe make that fight happen in the future at some point.
Yeah, his elbow looked gross.
Mm.
Looked gross. He just had, another orifice coming out of his elbow. It's pretty nasty. I
Yeah,
will say it as far as so Hamza is fighting at 185, right?
yeah,
And his debut fight, or not debut, but like he's finally going to get tested at 185 with a true 185er and Costa, a big 185er. We kind of get robbed to see what he looks like physically against an opponent that has that size and that strength, because Usman, while he is like a big 170, he's a small 185er. Like,
mm,
what is he? He's like 5'10, 5'11. Like, that's for that frame for that weight class is really small.
yeah,
So in a sense, we are kind of not getting to see Hamzat, how his physicality moves up to 185,
yeah,
how his strength, how his length moves up to 185. So in a sense, we kind of are robbed of that. But I think as far as just the pedigree of Usman and the IQ of Usman, I think in that sense, it's a little bit of a better fight. But in the physicality, Costa's a monster. So it definitely is true that we're
yeah.
kind of sad to miss that. Oh, speaking of monsters, it zoomed
Oh, zooming on your bicep right at the right time.
in.
Boom.
Uh, but yeah, man, it should be. I'm excited to watch him today.
Yeah, no, speaking of which, you want to talk a little bit about, we won't spend too much time on this, but maybe like you want to talk about where we think pricing at. Obviously, Usman, not only like before he even had the loss to Leon, like Usman has been one of those fighters, long-standing champion, like dominant fighter, but he's just never really translated to that hobby love that probably should, that we've seen with other fighters, maybe with even lesser resumes than what he has. So Usman has always been a little bit on the undervalued side, and then even more so now, obviously losing the title and then losing the rematch to Leon. But where do you think? And then we've got, on the other hand, we've got Hamza, the rookie from 2021, the Panini rookie that started it all for a lot of these
Mhm.
viewers here, and a guy whose values have just continued to be one of the more solid, like high selling, consistently high selling rookies, products, cards that we've seen. So it's sort of, we've got opposite ends of the spectrum here that are coming together in the ring now. So where do you think we're going to be at with Hamzat's pricing? If Hamzat wins, where do you think is he going to blast through the ceiling again? Or if Usman wins, does he blast through the ceilings? And maybe vice versa. What do you think is going to happen with their pricing?
With Usman, I think he's been undervalued, and we can kind of get into why that is. So I think if Usman gets a win here at 185, Dana said they're going to get a title shot against Strickland. Now, I think that's just kind of lip service. I don't know if he's actually going to do that. But if Usman gets a win here at 185 and then immediately goes to rematch Strickland where he dominated him in the first fight that they had, I mean, you could potentially be looking at a guy that, let's just crystal ball this, go into our time capsule and go to the future. He could be, he beats Hamza, he fights Strickland, potentially could beat Strickland. If he beats Strickland, he's definitely going to fight down at 170 to try and get that title too. So I mean, there is a weird, now is that going to happen? Who knows? That's a lot of ifs, right? But there is a possibility that Usman could be trying to be double champ. So I think if you're a speculator and you'd like to make flips, honestly, this is a good buy-in on Usman, I think, just because his pricing is already pretty low, and you have the possibility of maybe being getting a title shot opportunity at 185. With Hamzat, I think honestly the opposite is true here. I think he's like, he's been so high up. He's been the golden boy, like you said, of the Panini releases. Like, I don't know if he has any more room to go up unless he has to dismantle Usman. He has to murder him. He has to have a dominant performance and a dominant finish for his pricing to stay where it is, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, so I agree with you that I mean, I don't. It's hard to know with Usman. Like, if Usman beats Hamza, does that push Usman over the edge and make him hobby relevant? Like, quite possibly. Or could it just be one of those super exciting wins? Yeah, maybe for the next few days, like we typically see, the 72 hours after the event, we have this initial spike. where everyone's buying his cards, which are generally listings that are already like pre-existing, right? Everyone just goes crazy on the bite now.
Right.
And there will be a few people who will quickly make a listing and will make profit off that. But I think I don't know. It's hard to know if even if he does win, if it's something that's going to get forgotten about. But as you said, obviously if he wins, then yeah, it puts him right in line for that title shot, and puts him in line to match up against Strickland. How that fight goes, as you said, is another what if. But I don't know. I don't know if I disagree with you on the Khamzat remark, just because I think there are still, like, even me, like I would admit, like, I'm one of those people who still want to see Khamzat tested, and I don't know if we have. He fought Gilbert Burns, and that was a very, very close fight, which some people could have even scored that for Gilbert. And people forget that Gilbert was
I did.
Gilbert fought at 155 at one point in his career. Like, he's another guy who you said's not a one big 70-pounder. Khamzat has a bit of there's critics out there who will say that Khamzat at 170 was a weight bully. As you said, he's going to be fighting at 185 now. He's had a year to prepare for this, to be fair. Like, we haven't seen him fight since he fought Nate Diaz last year in September. So he has had time to sort of get a bigger frame and try and get the right weight on at the right time. But
Yeah, he
I
should be
mean,
massive at this point. The actual physical difference between the two should be huge today.
but what I was obviously always going around about it the wrong way, the long way. But what I was getting at is there are people who are still been doubting Hamzat and his skills and where his ceiling is. And as I said, I'm admittedly one of those. So if he goes out there and, as you said, if he blows Usman out in the first round, and even as at a late notice fight, like Usman's taken this fight on 10 or 11 days or something ridiculous. And we've seen many times before this not go in the favor of the person taking the fight on short notice. Yep. But Usman is, as we've said, is a decorated champion at welterweight. Nevertheless, one of the greatest we've ever seen at welterweight, regardless of his popularity or not. Skills for skills, he's one of the best. So if he blows Usman, then I think there is room for Hamzat to go next level. So
you said if he blows Usman,
well, maybe
I'm childish. I'm childish.
I'm sure you're not the only one who will laugh at. What I should have said is blows him out of the water, out of the ring maybe. But yeah, like, I think there's room for Hamzat to get even more hype behind him, especially leading into a title shot. I mean, Hamzat just needs to win a title.
Sure,
just like,
that's true.
Yeah, it's
no, that's definitely true. I think with his pricing though, like, he's so expensive that I think he can't just win one title. I think he's got to be like one of the best in, whatever weight class he ends up trying to stay at the longest. Like, if he chooses 185, he needs to like break Izzy's title defense record and like stay, for quite a long time, in order to like continue to keep this hype, because the pricing is astronomical comparatively to like a lot of people that have way more accolades, and even that are super popular. I mean, his pricing is, you're more of a pricing guy than me, but I would assume it's up there with like some of the most popular people of all time in the sport.
Yeah, definitely it is. I haven't checked it recently. I haven't checked it basically since I did that video with his gold PSA 10 sale. But yeah, obviously I think it's no secret that Hamzat is one of the hobby darlings when it comes to UFC products. And I know many guys have mentioned before, like, if you're walking around the card shows or whatever, there'll be guys who don't even have, like, they might have a handful of UFC cards, and you can be sure that Hamzat, one of his prison products, is one of those cards. So there could, like, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to know what's going to happen from here on out.
Nobody knows, man. That's what's so fun about this, is we have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah. Okay, so the first segment we have for you guys, it is called Pay-Per-View Buys. Now, what are we going to be doing here? Each and every time we have this collaboration together, we are going to be getting out our crystal ball. You got it there with you, Zach? There it is. Look at it. It's awesome. We're going to be getting our crystal balls out, and we're going to be looking into the future. We're going to be looking into the upcoming UFC pay-per-view events, and we're going to be each picking a card to the value of $30 max, we said. And then from there, we are going to be buying the card, letting you know what the card is that we bought. And then on the following collab episode, we're going to be talking about the value change of that card, whether it's worth more now, whether it's worth less, depending on the results of the pay-per-view event and how it went. So, for example, this week, obviously being the very first week, we are going to be talking about the buys that we have made over the past 2 weeks. I can start off my own buy. I picked up with the upcoming UFC event 295. We have Alex Pereira coming up against Yuri Prochazka in the co-main event for the vacant light heavyweight title. I have put my money where my mouth is, and I've got my crystal ball. It said that Alex Pereira is going to be winning that fight. Probably, I don't know, by decision, maybe. I think they might go to decision. Alex Pereira wins by decision. And I have bought his 2023 Red Prism, numbered to 199 in a PSA 9. Pick this card up. It's just right here, right now. Pick that
Nice.
pick that one up for $21.50. So we're gonna find out on the next episode. Obviously, after the results of that fight, I'm going to be posting in the next episode about how that card sort of resulted. I am actually going to put that card up for sale fight week and hopefully get someone to press that buy it now button when he wins the title, when he becomes a double champion at light heavyweight. And I can tell you guys all about it and how many millions of dollars I just made. Over to you now.
A multi-million-dollar flip.
With a PSA 9 all day. All right, Zach, what do you got for us with the pay-per-view buys for this month's episode?
Man, so we're going to 295. So it's good. One, I'm so excited for that Pereira and Yuri fight. I think it's going to be, as far as striking goes, that's probably one of the best matchups in the last couple of years. But we have one of the greatest to ever do it. We have Bones Jones fighting Stipe. So I had to get a Bones Jones. So I got, it might be really bad here, but Damien will put it up in the interwebs on the post. I got a 2011 Topps Finest Topps Finest X Fractor, and it's a of 388. I got this for $25. I thought that was a really good buy. The guy that had listed it had it as a refractor.
Did you take his wallet afterwards as well, after you stole that card from him? Or?
Yeah, I took him to dinner after the buy. But it's a really cool image. You know, he's about to drop a nasty elbow on somebody. It's actually a card that I had been wanting to get for a while. There's this one. There's also the head kick one with Bader. It's a really cool shot. The foot's like wrapping around Bader's head, and Bones is visible throwing the kick. So I want to get that one eventually too. But with this parallel being reasonably priced at 25, had to do it. I won't be flipping this like Damien. I really want to keep this one, but I'm hoping that we can find some comps so we can still, you know, continue to see if the card went up or down or what happened.
Yeah, well, we can definitely, I'm sure, hopefully we can find some reasonable comps on Card Ladder for the people. Even though, as you said, it's going to be a PC card, it might be fun just to find out what value change is there, if there is any. But I can't imagine that. I mean, even if we probably check over Card Ladder now, that card should be worth more than $25. So I hope you bought the guy dessert as well if you took it.
Yeah, right. We got a tiramisu.
Talking to the cleaners, more like it. But so, as I said, guys, this is going to be a recurring segment, the first segment that we have, and it'll just lead on from there. So after 295, then we'll look forward to 296 and you know, so on and so forth. So hopefully that should be a fun one, not only for us, but for you guys as well to follow along with. All right, you ready for segment number 2 now, Zach?
Do it.
This segment, it's called Agree or Disagree. Pretty straightforward. Shouldn't have to explain too much how this one's going to work. But each and every time, each collab, I've chosen this one. So obviously this collab is hosted on my channel this time around. Next time it's going to be hosted over at Zach's channel, Box Alarm Trading. But which, if you guys haven't subscribed already, you know, do it.
Click the buttons. Click the buttons.
but yeah, so he's going to be picking the agree or disagree topic on his channel, and then so whoever's hosting is the one who's picking the topic. So I picked the topic for this collab, the first collab, and it is with all the recent changes, especially with this 294 card. We had the co-main and main event change within 2 weeks of the event happening. So I want to discuss right now, is it best to maybe, if you're looking to get maximum value, we always talked about getting maximum value, putting the cards up that you guys own fight week when it's relevant for that fighter. But I want to maybe put it out there, is it better to be selling the card when the fights are announced? That way that you are not missing out on potential profits if something happens like we have just seen with the UFC 294 card 2 weeks out from the changes of the main co-main event. Those fighters falling short, they are no longer going to be competing, so you could no longer list their cards fight week. So is it better to be selling when the fight is announced, or is it better to run the gauntlet and wait until fight week? What do you think, Zach?
Man, this was a cool topic because I honestly had never even thought about listing it when the fight is announced. But I'm going to. Well, what is your stance? Are you saying that you think you should list it during fight week or when the fight's announced?
Well, it obviously, I think I'm going to put a disclaimer on this, and so I'm going to be sitting on. It's going to sound like I'm sitting on the fence. But honestly, I think it depends on the fighter. I think it doesn't depend on the fighter, of the card, who you're trying to get, maybe looking to get sell when the fighter is relevant, fight week, whatever. Maybe someone like Paulo Costa, okay, maybe it was better for him. And he's not that he's had a lot of times he's pulled out of fights. Obviously, he's fought more times than he's had incidences. But is this not the first time he's had issues leading into a fight with injury or whatnot, or maybe missing weight? So maybe it would depend on the fighter for me. Paulo Costa, maybe it's best for someone like him, a fighter like him, to sell when the fight is announced. Obviously, it was a massive announcement when him and Hamza got announced. So he was relevant in the MMA world there for a little bit. So it is potential for someone like him to then sell his cards at that time. But then also to maybe, a fighter who's more, I don't know, I hate to say more reliable because it sounds like things happen at around
Right.
it. But I'm actually, obviously coming up with this topic, I might lean more towards listing at fight announcement, just because I think some of these fights, especially for these fighters, like when Conor McGregor and the Michael Chandler fight is announced, I am banking
That's gonna be big.
that that fight is going to be massive news. So I think when that fight gets announced, I think it will be a great time. Me personally, I'm going to be listing my Conor cards and my Chandler cards when that fight gets announced. So I'm going to side with putting them up initially, at least when the fight is announced. And then if they don't sell, then obviously you can relist them then when fight week rolls around if they're still competing. But definitely,
good point.
Yeah, list them fight announcement.
Okay, so I'm gonna disagree. Disagree. So I'm gonna disagree. I think that is a good point about. Well, I'll talk about why I disagree first, and then we'll come back to what you just said. So I think there is nothing like fight week. You have the weigh-ins, you have UFC embedded, you have the interviews, you have the trash talk, you have the memes, you have the wars online. There's nothing like fight week. People are buzzing, before the fight, talking about their favorite fighter, talking all this dumb stuff online to each other. I think everyone gets super excited fight week, rightfully so, and I think that is the peak of excitement. Now you could miss out on, some people pulling out, but I think that is still pretty rare. I think it gets publicized a lot, but it is kind of a rare thing when people pull out last second, like has happened with these two instances. So I think to get max value, wide zoom, you should you should list maybe 3 days before the actual fight. So fight week's building pretty good, and then it zoom back in, and then it and then it
Getting to the key point now. Getting to the key point, yeah.
Right. But you brought up a good point about maybe you kind of do both. Maybe you list a high buy it now price when it gets announced, and you don't do an auction, you think of, there's a lot of buzz between Connor and Chandler. Let me list a high, buy it now. And then you see if it sells. If it sells or doesn't, if it doesn't sell, then you can list it fight week. So you could actually do both, and maybe that is the best play.
Well, I'm actually going to disagree with what you just said. You started off so solid. You were changing my mind. The buzz of fight week. I was like, yeah, Zach's right. He's bringing in some good points here. But then you just said something which I completely disagree with. I would not set a high price at fight announcement. What I would be trying to bait is people who, I like to think people think far ahead. So maybe when the fight gets announced, you're getting a segment of people, not everyone, but you're going to get finding a segment of people who are going to be wanting to buy then, and then they are going to be wanting to list in fight week. So what you want to do is you want to capitalize on what they're trying to do. So you want to, obviously you've got your price, whatever it is, but you don't want to be trying to get absolute maximum value. Try and take a little bit of a gain, but leave enough for them to entice them to buy that card, so they can then, as I said, they can take the risk on fight week and see how that goes fight week for them. But yeah, regardless, obviously, whenever you're selling your cards, have a price in mind and be firm with your own price, whatever that is. But yeah, that would be, as I said, just a little counterpoint to what you just said. You maybe want to entice the segment of people who are trying to buy cards when the fight is announced, and they're going to be holding all the way to fight week where they're going to list the cards. So there could be people who are actually on the hunt at fight announcement.
Okay, but yeah, fair enough.
Yep. All right. Now, the last segment that we have for this week's episode, we do have a few more segments going to be in the next episode, a little bit unprepared being the first episode, and I hope you guys can bear with us as we're doing this new collaboration. We're going to be having little clips here and there, but we're going to be, the end product is still going to be there, and it's just going to get better each and every single week. Isn't that right, Zach?
Oh yeah, every time, baby.
Every
We're moving up.
So we're going to finish off the segments now with what we have come up with: trash, hold, or sell. So basically, once again, the hosting guy, me, for this week, has picked 3 cards, and we're going to be, changing them over. We're going to be picking 3 cards for trash, hold, sell. We're going to be talking about what you would do with those 3 specific cards. So whether you want to obviously trash them, whether you want to hold them, or whether you want to sell them. So this week, this video, I have chosen these 3 cards. Are you ready, Zach?
I'm ready, and it's a good 3. I like it.
So we're going to be starting off with the man of 2023, the absolute hobby darling, probably the guy who, if you put him next to Hamzat, people wouldn't know who they want to give a kiss to first, to be honest. Like this is how big this guy is. I'm talking about the one and only Mr. Bo Nickel. We have his PSA 10 Red Prism, numbered to 199. It was recently sold in October at $202.50. But before that, in August, it sold for a whopping $800.
That's crazy.
In July, it was a $500 card. What is so special about this that maybe is getting everyone those funny feelings in the stomach? Not only is it a PSA 10, but there's also a color match with his shorts, which, for some people that just gets them really excited, including myself. I've just picked up an O'Malley 2021 Prism because it has a color match with his shorts. But so that is the first card. The second card we have is still, I think, a slightly undervalued rookie from 2022, but he was pretty hyped in 2022. We're talking about Mr. Tom Aspinall, the heavyweight prospect who could be fighting for the title anytime now. We'll see what happens with Jones and Stipe, but we have his
dramatic pause.
Dramatic pause. We have his White Sparkle PSA 10 2022 Prism. It recently sold for wasn't recently, actually. It was in July. The last sale was $405. I would probably value that card somewhere around the 250 range at the moment, probably if it was a sell in today's market, maybe closer to 200. So putting it somewhere next to that Bogue sale, for example. And then lastly, we are going to be going with the man who is just another guy who's just absolutely loved the hobby for so many years now. He is what some people would consider to be the current, and if not the future, Mickey Mantle of the UFC card hobby. We have the one, the only, the Canadian, the GSP, Georges St. Pierre, and we are going with his 2009 round 2 gold
Not
parallel.
one
Not
more,
one,
two.
but 2. We're going with his gold parallel in a PSA 9. It recently sold in October for $185. It is a pop 2. Sorry, I should have noted also mentioned the Tom Aspinall White Sparkle 2022 Prism PSA 10 is also a pop 2. Not sure the pop count on the red Prism for Bo Nickel because PSA was not wanting to help me out yesterday. But here we are, those 3 cards. Which one are you trashing? Which one are you holding? Which one are you selling, Zach? You're up.
Ooh, let me start by that. This hurts a little to have to trash one of these cards. I mean, it was I kind of waffled a little between the trash decision, but here's what I got, guys. And some of you may some of you may not like this. Some of you may not like this. I'm going to trash Bo Nickel. And let me kind of go through the reasoning here because it was a tough decision, but okay, so here's my reasoning, right?
Blasphemy. Absolute blasphemy.
So the print run is 199. So there's probably, I'm not a math guy, probably 500 different parallels that are below this card. So we've got, the rarity is not even close to the Aspinall card. And since the gold GSP is a 9, and those are extremely tough cards to grade, I think that the pop is going to stay really low on that GSP, where I think the pop on that nickel is just going to continue to go up. And he's still really unproven, man. I mean, he does have like incredible potential in the sport, but Aspinall is literally here's the a title shot. Here's Aspinall. Like he's gonna get a title shot within the next 5 years, long term, unless something crazy happens. We have no idea what is going to happen with Bo's future. I mean, he could be one of the best ever, or he literally could lose the first fight he goes up against a ranked opponent. Like we don't know. So the uncertainty, I'm gonna trash Bo. Now these next 2 were really the toughest for me, and it was like, which card do I want to hold long term, and which card do I want to sell? I'm gonna sell Aspinall. I think you could probably sell him in his next fight, and I think there's gonna be a lot of hype around that. He looked really good last fight. I was worried about the knee. The knee looked fine. I think he's still one of the most well-rounded heavyweights in that division. I think as far as future goes, him, Gain, and Pavlovich are gonna have a really fun, mix in that division, and I think they're gonna put on some really good shows. I'm selling Tom. I'm holding Rush St. Pierre. I'm holding GSP. The gold's a really good looking card. The 9 is extremely tough on those thick golds. It's a rookie year. I think the value is going to continue to go up. What are your thoughts, Damien?
Yeah, like I know I picked these cards, but like I didn't. I picked them not sort of comprehending that I would then have to make decisions. I mean the trashing the Bo. I mean that's rough, mate. I must say, like we see eye to eye on a lot of stuff, but like I know it's a tough one, but I mean for all the same reasons that you talked about Bo, he's still undefeated. I think like we're getting our crystal ball back out a little again about now, but I think UFC are going to take they're going to take the Sean O'Malley blueprint, what they did with Sean O'Malley. They built him up
It
over
could happen.
they built him up over a couple of years. So and I understand what you said about it's a high print run. It's 199. And I know it's PSA 10, but there could be 100 others out there by the time that by the time the pop report is done. But still, it is a color match. It's a rookie prism. It's a PSA 10. That is a card that is always going to be desirable as long as Bo Nickel is relevant.
As long as Bo Nickel wins. I don't care what anyone says. The number one thing in this sport is you have to win. Period.
I agree, but I was just saying, like, I think UFC are going to build Bo Nickel up the right way. He's going to be getting favorable matchups. He is going to be put on the spotlight to perform and to win.
100%.
And I think for that only is going to make his cards more desirable to a bigger audience for a longer period of time. I agree. I'm not saying he's going to have this undefeated career like a Habib, but I still think there's much more room for him to grow, to become popular, and for his card values to increase even more. As I said, I mean, I'm not saying that's an $800 card, but the fact that we saw that sell for $800, we also saw it sold for $500 the month.
That's some good sales, man.
Obviously, these are all, these are all when Prism was Prism was released in April, right? So it was a hot product. Bo Nickel was the hot product, the hot rookie for this year. But I still think there's room there. So
what do you trashing then? You got to trash the Aspen or the GSP.
I'm selling so I'm I got to trash the Aspen.
Oh
no, wait, I haven't. So wait, just let me think. I might lose. I've got 300 and something subscribers. I might be about to lose 300 subscribers here in 1 week.
Don't worry about those.
I'm trashing the GSP. Boom.
Ooh, all right.
All right, and why I'm trashing that GSP? It is a round 2 product, and I know the hardcore. Like, I had that talk with Eric. It really does sound like, for me, I know I would consider that his rookie card, but there's a lot of hardcore people out there who do not consider those round 2 products the rookie cards. They consider the round 1 products are the true rookie products.
I mean, it's not the true rookie, but still rookie year. So
yeah, sorry.
I get.
Obviously, for those of you who don't know, I think he was in Kings of the Ring, but anyway, GSP's had products in 2008 and things before, but the first UFC licensed product, 2009, round 1, they are considered to be the true rookies. So therefore, round 2 is a little bit in the shadow for round 1. It is a gold parallel. It's not numbered, but there is an estimated print run of maybe somewhere between 500, 600 copies of that. It is a PSA 9. It is only a pop 2 with no PSA 10s. But the thing I would say about that is that card truly rare? I don't think so, to be honest. And
see, I think that's where we disagree, just because of the 9. Like those thick cards, man. This is a tough grade.
But a grade, but this is where I'm strong on this. A grade does not make a card rare. I would a card is rare based off print run, not based off grade.
So is a card that has 600 parallels rare? Because that's what you're keeping with your Bo Nickel.
200, mate, 200. And I'm selling that. I would be holding on to the Aspinall, just because I agree with all the things that you said. I think Aspinall's career is still just here, and he has shown that he could be way up here, and he could have a long, obviously, injuries the only thing that can hold him back, in my own opinion. But I think he has shown the skills. He is such a talented heavyweight. I feel like once John Jones, which who knows when he's going to hang up the gloves for good, but I think it leaves room for Tom Aspinall to maybe go on a decent run, which we haven't really seen any fighter since Stipe. What's Stipe's like? He had a run of maybe 3 or 4 title fights, which is the longest ever in heavyweight.
Yeah.
So it's not going to take much. It's going to take, and I know there's talented new fighters coming all the time, but I think Tom Aspinall has the biggest ceiling here out of those 3 fighters. And I know GSP is beloved. I love GSP. I have some of his cards, but for this, as I said, I did not consider a card that is not serial numbered. Yeah, it does have it is a short print, but we are basically just giving this card like, because would you want that card if it was a PSA 6? If that card's a PSA 6, are you still going to be
Well,
that,
PSA.
like that's just a deciding, and I know everyone's different, and that's why we can have these conversations. But yeah, I'm not keeping a card based off its grade. Basically, I'm not holding a card up here just because it's a higher grade. So
Okay, let me rebuttal a little bit because you're making good points, but this is a 2009 card. I do not think there are a lot of these around at this time. Like I think a ton of these just got lost, a ton of these got ripped up. Like back, back when the OGs were collecting, like I don't think these were getting taken care of like they are now. So I do think this is a pretty rare card. I'm not getting it necessarily because of the grade, but because I think this was a short print back in the day. Who knows what that means, right? I hate that they do that, but but let's say there was what 150, like I don't know, 100. Do you have any idea what the estimation was for the golds?
um,
500?
I'm only basing off the round one golds, Eric, which obviously it's his opinion, only.
Right.
I would hope that he would be more educated and maybe more experienced than, obviously much more than myself, yourself. So take his word for what he's told me in the chat that we had, but he did estimate it to be around the 400, like
400?
between 400, 450 for round one gold parallels. So
Okay, so it's if we just take the print run, it's probably a little bit less printed than the bow card. Just because 199 all the way down, there's probably what 500, 600, 700 of those. So it's less printed. And I think a ton of those just got lost, got the dog ate it, somebody forgot about it and threw it away. To take all that into account, just the age of the card and that it graded a 9, I just don't think there's many out there like that, or many out there that are left at period. But this was really fun. I love the back and forth. These are good.
yeah, no, as I said, it always like it's not an easy choice, you got to say, and
Oh,
you would
yeah.
love to keep all of them, but
Yes, you want all three of these.
yeah, but I mean, we're obviously doing this for the people, so that's how I would look at it. And as you said, it's good that we had a bit of a back and forth and
Hmm.
from different perspectives. But let us know down in the comments, guys. What do you guys think? If you have to trash, hold, or sell those three cards, well, let us know down in the comments below. We would love to see your guys' answers. Zach, we're running out of time here, mate. I'm sorry, but anything else you want to leave off with? What's going on with box alarm trading? When a lot of us people we're getting a bit worried. We want to see it.
Yeah, man. Thank you for asking. Thank you for that. I was just kind of running a little low on motivation to make stuff, but it is coming back. I've been starting to think of some ideas. I have a couple videos that I want to do, just kind of updates on the PC and talk about some cards. And me and Eric are getting a PSA sub back, and we got a package from your boy right here that we're gonna open up. So I'm excited to take a look at that. So we're definitely going to be having some videos coming out soon. It may be a little more infrequent than it used to be just because of some here in the States, the student loans got turned back on. So a little bit of my card budget is now getting sucked up by, bills and stuff. So I'm not going to be able to buy quite as many products, but yeah, I'll still be making some videos for sure.
Yeah, well, as like I've said this publicly every time we get together, but obviously I'm a big fan of what you and Eric do, and I obviously love seeing you guys' videos, not only as another content creator, but just as a viewer and a fan of your guys' channel. So really hope you guys can get back to making some videos. And as you said, just like this is all just backseat stuff, and it's just a hobby. So whenever you can, mate, we'd love to see. I know I'm speaking for a lot of people. We obviously can't wait to see your videos again. And in the meanwhile, obviously, we're going to be doing this thing regularly. Next
Oh
time,
yeah.
it's going to be hosted on your channel. We're going to be looking. What are we looking at? Somewhere in late October. No, we are late October now, late November. So we're going to be looking forward. It'll be before the UFC 295 card. UFC 296 card.
96.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would think I would think mid I would think early to mid November. I think that card's November 11th, so it may be a little sooner than we anticipated.
That's 295, which we're talking about. 296
Oh, that's right. That's right.
is a December card. So, and also too, guys, I think it would be great. I'm sure like Zac and I would both appreciate if you've got questions, write them down in the comments below, and we will get to those next episode. We might finish off next time round with some questions from the people. What do you think, Zac?
Yeah, I love it. Or any ideas for segments or content that the people want to see. Yeah,
Yeah.
so questions are great. That might spark some ideas, and then we come up with some new segments.
Yeah, well, we're going to roll with these. So we obviously got the PPV buys, we've got the agree to disagree, we've got the trash buy, trash hold or sell, and then we are going to have boom or bust next time around as well. So we've got 4 regular segments we're going to roll with just in the beginning. See how you guys liked them. Let us know also in the comments what segments you enjoyed, maybe which ones you didn't. Do that over the next few videos. Give us some feedback because we are just men of the people here, and we're just making this. We're just making this stuff for you guys. So let us know what you guys want to see, what you don't want to see, and in the meanwhile, we're just going to keep rolling, doing our thing, and talking about UFC cards.
Couldn't have said it any better.
Righto, Zac, you're the man. Look forward to your next video. Say hello to Eric for me, and
Will do.
we'll see you guys here again next time.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for having me, Damien.